Day one.
On Jurassic.
3, 2, 1, action.
It's been a dream of mine to be in the Jurassic family forever.
The idea of bringing back the past to me is endlessly fascinating.
We were off on this adventure, having a crazy experience, trying to make something special.
You don't see that every day.
Or ever.
The original Jurassic Park blew everyone away and changed cinema.
It's still such a brilliant film, and so full of humanity and great scares.
You could show the logo to anyone in the world, any language, any continent, and it'd probably put a big smile on their face.
I think it's no secret that I'm a Jurassic Park fan. I really wanted the film to have that nostalgia feeling of watching the original Jurassic Park. When I read the script, it felt like a love letter to Spielberg. Like each little section reminded me of something in Spielberg's early work.
Steven gave me a call and said, hey, you want to do another one of those? And the absolute best part for me is the making them up. Everything is possible in the world. Any idea goes. So Steven and I started talking, kicking ideas back and forth. It seemed appropriate to us to start with some new people and tell a different kind of story that was unlike any of the other ones.
We went, let's take people to a new Jurassic World. We're going into different territory. Now you have dinosaurs that were hideous rejects. And Rebirth is what the mistakes look like and how terrifying they are.
I was just so excited to read the script. Whether or not there would be something for me to do, I just was excited to read a David Koepp Jurassic script as a huge fan, and I loved it.
It's fun, right?
By the time I'd read the script, I was like, I'm in, 100%.
It's such a page-turner, and it has adventure, it has friendship and loyalty and the betrayal of those things. It has an almost impossible task that you just root for everyone to complete. It has family, it has friendship, it has the meeting of the animal and human worlds, and a completely viable plot.
I could feel the propulsiveness of the story. David definitely did his job.
The water's just going to do this past you a little bit, right? So you say a line, and you're not sure. Was it just imagination?
Gareth Edwards, for me, is synonymous with incredible, imaginative world building. And when he jumped on board, I knew it was going to be something brilliant.
Gareth has an incredible visual vocabulary.
He knows how to use CGI in the best way, where you don't know it's CGI, and create these incredible sequences that he did in The Creator and in Rogue One.
He comes up with ideas, he comes up with shots, he comes up with creatures that live in his head.
If we use that rock as a bit of foreground, and we're just going to drift and just keep it alive. We did a lot of what I call toy viz, where it's just taking little toys or little things and shooting them with your iPhone. It's really hard to communicate an idea, like go left, go right. And so we ended up grabbing objects like a water bottle, and I'm just like doing a helicopter shot of a water bottle with the camera move.
Gareth can visualize things that are really spectacular, just fantastic images. But what makes him a gifted director is he can not only visualize them, he can figure out how to bring them to reality.
David Koepp created some really fabulous new characters, and we have a fabulous cast to match up with that.
Every single time I've heard that they were making a new Jurassic, I've reached out to my team and was like, I'm still available for Jurassic.
Filming with Scarlett has just been hilarious and full of joy and all the things that you could possibly wish for. She's just a very brilliant, lovely person who creates such a lovely working environment.
Hi, how are you guys?
I really appreciated having an opportunity to be in something that my daughter could see and that I could share with her, which is so different from what I've done up until this point in my career.
Mahershala, I think he's just a completely magical human. He fills the character with sort of empathy and also shares a bit of Henry's wonder, I think.
My dream is I die in a shallow sea and am buried quickly by silt.
That's beautiful.
There's the best chance of being fossilized that way.
Jonathan Bailey is amazing, and he's so funny and animated and consistent and really great for this genre.
In between takes, there's so much messing around. It's like a bunch of kids, to some extent.
We were all thrust together in this environment and away from home. I mean, that's one of the great things about shooting on location is you really feel a sense of family almost instantly because of how everything is set up.
There's been a bit of an instant fraternity that develops when you're just so removed from what normal life would be and you're out in the middle of nowhere for a long period of time.
There's just a real sense of life and friendship and camaraderie. The joy that is shared amongst the cast will be seen on screen.
It's an actor's dream, really, to have Scarlett, Johnny, and Mahershala as my cohorts. And we became very, very close very quickly.
It's a glamorous job, but someone's got to do it.
Myself and Audrina and Manuel and David, we have been together practically every single day for the last 4 months. And so you create a bond with those people for sure.
Manuel treats me like I'm his annoying little brother, which is lovely. Luna puts up with my weird jokes. And Audrina actually jokes back with me, which is fun.
We do have a handshake. It's the new and improved handshake. I also have one with Manuel, and I also have one with Luna. But I think David's and I handshake is pretty long. I don't know why it's that long, but it is. It is long.
Audrina is something special. When she's on set, she puts us like in a mood that is so helpful for the chemistry of the family.
I feel very lucky to have met these people because I genuinely do feel like they are friends of mine that I will have for a very long time.
We have been thrown into this whirlwind of a situation, and it's beautiful, and it's very much a bonding experience.
Trying to take it all in. We're very lucky.
It's great from top to bottom. All of the actors are bringing their all.
Now the film's coming to an end in post-production. I have that feeling where I'm like, wait a minute, hang on, what just happened? Did we make a Jurassic film?
"35 minutes of the film take place on water. You don't really think about that when you are reading a script. You go, oh my God, this is going to be amazing.
What are those?
Is it the you-know-what?
Stephen had an idea that there is a mosasaur out in the world, and that portion of the story was about what do we do about this mosasaur.
10 o'clock!
And I liked the idea of part of the movie being a sort of seafaring adventure. I had not seen that.
It really felt like, to me, like a love letter to Jaws. I'd watched Jaws to death before I even took this job, but I really, really studied it. Everything, the feel of it, the texture, it just seems like the perfect movie. And so there's just no way you can compete with that. So it's quite intimidating starting point.
Come on, come on, come on!
The making of a film that involves a lot of water, it has its challenges, but there's a brutality to it and also an urgency to it and a danger to it when you add the water element.
And everyone always says, never, ever, ever make a movie set in the ocean. And I was like, no, we got to. It's going to look real. We got a real boat. Let's go do this. And within 3 hours, I decided I'd made a terrible mistake. They were right, and filming on the ocean is a nightmare. The first day was on the Mariposa. And the real estate is like 2 meters by 10 meters.
21, take 5.
And you can't get any grip equipment on there, so I was doing the handheld myself. And you had a bump in the ocean, the camera would go over, you might go over.
We shot scenes on the Mariposa, on the ocean. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful boat.
We call it La Mariposa because it's a beauty, as you can see it. And also because butterflies, which Mariposa is what it means, yeah, they fly like this. So this is very steady, it's very old. It's a 47-footer. It's a classic kitsch. There used to be another mast, but they took it out to have some space for the family, for the cameras. This is the actual boat that we shot on the sea 2 straight days. And then one day it was rough. The sea was pretty rough.
I love the water in general, so just to be able to like actually work on the water, and you really feel you get into the danger of it all.
I get to take the wheel maybe once or twice, so that's pretty fun. It's on autopilot, but I think I'm still driving the boat.
But you do a pretty good job.
I mean, you're in open water, and it was very choppy, and as a human, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do here.
And so we kind of changed the plan a little bit and did a lot more in the tank.
Well, we're in Malta. We're at what's called the deep and the shallow tanks.
These are probably the oldest tanks in the world. And if you're going to be filming on the water, much more efficient to film in a tank than it is out in the open ocean, in which things are constantly moving because of currents or wind, whereas here they're locked down.
Our boats are lifted and dropped right onto a gimbal. We'll be able to move that boat up and down, forward and back, and give this appearance that it's actually out on the open sea.
Malta has this sort of hybrid situation where you have this blue screen tank, you can fill it with water, you've also got the ocean right next door.
Yes! Look at that!
So cool.
You can take the boat that you're filming on, put the camera here, and it looks as if your boat is out in the ocean.
Action!
So we're getting on this boat to get on that boat, and it's going swimmingly.
The Mariposa rig was a 10-axis gimbal, so we had a 6-axis motion base at the bottom, which would give you these really nice dynamic moves. We had a turntable on the bottom, so we could adjust it to the sun. We had another 2 axes going up and down, so the boat could either move up or move down.
This is the first time ever anyone has done a gimbal in ocean water operated by a computer. They just hit play on this computer and the whole ship goes like.
Audrina, are you excited to get on the boat?
One of the scenes, the boat, it's on like a rig, and it fully turns around and capsizes it, and we have to climb on the boat. They had also little grips for us so we can grip onto them while we get up, and I found that very, very cool because you actually have to hold on. Come on!
Trying to do water in the computer is a nightmare. And so when we came aboard this, I was a little bit nervous, and the best people in the world have been working on this film, especially all the experts in water simulations.
We started by creating an ocean and then making sure that Gareth was happy with the look. After that, we started adding the dinosaurs, the boat, the wakes, the simulations, all the things that made up the shot. And halfway through the production, we would be showing Gareth some of the shots that had just the ocean.
As a visual effects artist in my previous life, I really think I'm good at when someone goes, is this fake, is this real? And there's been many, many a time where we've been flicking through footage that ILM have created, and I'm looking at it thinking it's the footage from the real boat and the helicopter, and then suddenly going, wait a minute, this was on the ground. Hang on, this is not even real water. And they're like, yeah.
The magic of filmmaking, it's just absolutely crazy.
We're search and rescue now. It's my charter. It's my boat.
Essex is nice. It's a pretty wonderful vessel, and it's quite vulnerable during our journey.
It's a very, very heavy boat. This will be lifted up onto a crane in various parts and then put onto the rig. But you can see here, this is a direct copy from the real boat. We've only built to a certain point, but VFX will pick up on the rest of the elements below that.
They'd taken that boat out and with motion sensors had recorded 8 hours of life at sea, which then was recreated by this hydraulic contraption.
The spiders can't keep up, but the big one's still on us.
This is the moment when the boat is being chased by the mosasaur into the island. They're being forced into these pinnacles.
Hang on!
And the boat is in danger of crashing and being sunk by the mosasaur.
Brace for impact!
Okay, 3, 2, 1, action!
Shooting in that heat without the cover was brutal. Then the boat would suddenly, do that. They'd occasionally put 70 gallons of water into my face in a tenth of a second.
There were 4 water cannons as running from the back to the front. Everyone loved it.
The gimbal would move the boat, and then every time we got attacked by a dinosaur, it would flip to the side or get pushed or raise up.
So now you go through the cabin, other side. Yep.
We'd be out there with wind machines blowing in our face, with water cannons flying at us, with the gimbal moving.
I got thrown about and I loved it. I loved the stunts.
We're set.
Helping Scarlett get in, she was flying off the side, pulling her back up. The boat was sort of flipping around.
Where is the camera at this part?
That's actually Scarlett doing all that crazy stuff.
I think those were the days that actually, when you're then inside in a studio, that you lament and you crave.
Hereward! Hereward!
That's 2 signals.
So we already found it?
No, it found us.
I'll be honest, my first pass of the mosasaur was I was trying to make it into a giant shark. And it wasn't mosasaur-y enough, if that's a term.
Come on! It's in range!
Gareth knew that he needed to push the mosasaur design in such a way that people would find it awe-inspiring and fantastic. So there's elements and hints of a blue whale in there. We've added barnacling onto the surface, so it's got scars, as if it's had like encounters with other animals. And it definitely feels much more like a marine reptile that we would know now.
The new thing with the mosasaur in this film is that it's not always in sort of aggression mode and attack mode. And so there was an opportunity to try to find some more sounds that represented it. There actually are some whale sounds in there. There were some sort of metal sounds we had recorded once that had this sort of resonant, sort of singing quality.
Those Spinosaurs, they're living in a harmonious ecosystem with the mosasaur.
The Spinosaurs, I wanted to put more in the neck and make it a bit thicker, a bit stronger, just to make it feel more aggressive, like it had more of a bite at you.
I wanted to bring Spinosaurs back because I felt like we got to see them in Jurassic 3, but not nearly as much as I wanted. Of course, there's a lot of consultation with paleontologists to get the look right. It's easy for me to type it, I say a Spinosaur, but then somebody has to go design it and make sure it's accurate.
Our understanding of a Spinosaur and how it moved, where it lived, has moved on a lot since the original Jurassic Spinosaur. It would have spent a lot of time in water, whereas on the original Jurassic, it was a land-based animal. We've given it more powerful hind limbs, it's got a much bigger, broader tail, it's got webbing in between its feet.
Spinosaur in this movie is even more aggressive in certain attack scenes and things, so we tended to sweeten it more with jaw snaps and really just like powerful jaw movement.
If you have big aquatic creatures slamming into the boat, that allowed us to be able to bring enormous production value and excitement to the audience.
Well done, Rodrigo, phenomenal.
My voice might be a little gone tomorrow, but that's okay.
I'm here on the set of Jurassic World Rebirth in the Thai jungle. It's pretty mind-blowing to be a part of this world. We're very excited to be here.
Shooting in Thailand was challenging, and people would say, oh, you're going to Bangkok. I was like, no, it's Jurassic. We're in the middle of the jungle, and I wouldn't say the jungle is the most welcoming environment.
These locations, they're really special and they truly become a character in the film. I don't think this is something that you can do entirely on a lot. I don't think it serves a story. I don't think it serves the performers.
What is so important, especially in a story like this where, you know, there's dinosaurs and we have to suspend our disbelief, is to have the real locations.
When I was reading that script, I was like, it's got to be Thailand. There are this very primal landscape. It has these amazing kind of what we call like Skull Island style cliff formations and beautiful beaches and everything. So we came to lovely Thailand.
So in order to get to this island, first and foremost, we had to drive about 2.5 hours to a port to then get a ferry to an island, which is where most of the cast and crew is staying. And then from that island, every morning we get a 20-minute boat to this one here. Base is the other side of the island, so we always sort of make a pilgrimage or a trek every morning. It's incredibly bonding.
Because of the release date, we had to go straight away, and that was the monsoon or rainy season.
We shot in Thailand during monsoon season, which I don't know whose idea that was, but it ended up working out quite well.
And that was a little humid, and luckily lots of the parts are supposed to be raining because we're on an island, so it's supposed to be raining, sunshine, raining, sunshine.
We've got a pretty large cell moving in right here. Probably more rain, figure that, and maybe some lightning.
The elements definitely were not encouraging of us being there.
It just did.
Good morning.
It's not warm.
I didn't even know what a mangrove was until I got here. Apparently there's a path that we're gonna follow. I don't know how we're gonna see that path, but it's actually very exciting. The water's gonna be up to my chest.
You know, being in the mangroves, like in a wetsuit all day, I was like, you guys are at the chest. I'm right here.
We're in the mangroves. All the roots look like snakes and animals around us, so it lets your imagination run wild.
Being in the mangroves in Thailand was pretty fascinating and a little unsettling. And again, in a way that I think really contributed to whatever I could do as a performer, as an actor that day. I definitely feel like it infused a little bit of fear and discomfort in my performance for sure, because the water was warm but uncomfortable, and there's roots all on the ground and almost like grabbing at your feet.
Well, that wasn't acting, that was true.
Yeah. I couldn't stand up.
But it was also really still and beautiful too.
I hate the jungle. I try to avoid it now.
Why is that?
You can't see 3 feet in front of you, and you always know you're being stalked.
Just be light on your feet. It's cool. There's a few bits here. I'll lead the way because I've been there. But there's a few little rocks and roots and stuff in the way.
You can feel the producers sometimes going like, you know, the logistics of now we've all got to film in this water, and you can see them doing the maths, but equally you can see them looking at the images going, but it looks really good, doesn't it? It just feels so like you imagine in like a Tarzan movie or something.
So just finding little opportunities like that, little like starting on one, it moves. Yeah. And we find the breed. Great.
That was a pretty unique environment to have to track a camera in. We basically mounted a Libra head to a rescue surfboard and essentially used it as a dolly. We wanted the lens as close as the water as possible. We wanted some shots with a bit of movement to them as well as just on the surface of the water, so we'd put a small crane arm on a small pontoon with the express intention of reaching into the mangroves, doing little jibs up and down. I started thinking, I wonder when I watch this, if I wasn't involved in it, I'd be thinking, how did they track the camera in that way, in that environment? It's a very difficult environment, and I think we got some really cool shots.
I had never been in a mangrove swamp, and it's basically about this deep. It's about 4 feet deep in water that's kind of questionable, and there's all these roots that just extend all over, and there's things that live on the bottom of these mangrove swamps that if you put your foot down, all of a sudden there's something that slides away out from under your foot. You have no idea what it is.
Just adds to the experience of making film, because you want to feel as much of it as possible, and my gosh, do you feel it when you're up to here.
Where's craft service? I was thrilled when they told us that we were filming on location. Jungle, yes. Mangrove swamp, yes. I love it. It smells like a mangrove. It doesn't smell like some aircraft hangar in North London.
In the middle of the scene, you're seeing monkeys scaling a mountain and bats flying by, and all these things in some ways really contributed to this idea that we were off on this adventure.
How much further?
Not far. The titanosaur herd should be right across this valley.
We had to create this field behind us. It was just sort of bramble to begin with. So we created it, we dug it up, and we planted this grass, which did not grow very well.
Gareth wanted this like grassy field at a certain height, and we said, okay, let's get in there and figure that out. And we had to bring in professional horticulturalists to understand what it would take to grow grass in the amount of time that we had.
They find a grass called Mombasa. It's a local grass that's growing in the south in this area. So they start planting it, in April, but we're lucky enough that the rainy season start coming in May and June.
Only about 3 weeks before the actual shoot, the grass was only at knee high, and everybody's going, so is this grass going to grow? Is it going to be here on that height on the day? And we, of course, said, yeah, of course, it's going to be there, not knowing if it was, but it happened.
We're set. And 3, 2, 1, crunch.
Zora and Loomis's group have just come across the titanosaur herd, so they're trying to get the second sample.
This is a dart rifle, which is used for extracting DNA. It's more of a scientific tool than a lethal weapon. It's a CO2 charged rifle with a PSI reading that has a bolt action and a scope. We also had to incorporate the fact that Scarlett is left-handed, so we chose which side to put the PSI reader and some of the features so that they could be best seen on camera. So there's a lot of R&D that's gone into it.
I am painting a lighting reference for visual effects of the titanosaur. Obviously, this character, this dinosaur, is going to be humongous, but we still paint head for reference. The visual effects can use on set. They can scan it. They can bring it into their model in the computer. They can lay the paint job basically onto their CG model. We tend to do that for most CG dinosaurs.
This is the grassy plains. This is Titanosaur right here. Its sauropod 50 feet tall, so the top of its head stands so high up in the air. You'll be able to take in some of these epic vistas when we're shooting. Industrial Light and Magic are going to be putting in the Titanosaurs in post-production, so there's quite a bit of work for us to do here. I pitched to Gareth that we would have these really long-tailed creatures, and he took that idea and really ran with it. So the tails are very much like ribbons in an Olympic display, slightly genetically modified. So we have a little bit of license to extend tails because of that.
The Titanosaur is one of the earliest creatures that we discussed with Gareth, and he from the very beginning wanted a very musical quality to them, you know, almost like they're singing to each other. Because it's sort of a love scene in a way between these two Titanosaurs, each of them actually has quite a different voice, which will help differentiate them and really make it seem like they're talking to each other.
He just wants this to be unique and beautiful and mesmerizing, and sort of do everything to the audience member that it does to Johnny Bailey during the scene. He starts crying.
You don't see that every day. Or ever.
Okay, and action.
We've just been in rehearsals.
Yeah, look around, look at the back of the room. Okay, now look around the boat, and then put it on. And then flinch.
Now we're rolling on the scene. I have to be quiet.
3, 2, 1, pull!
You can't make a Jurassic film and not feature a T-Rex.
The sequence with the sleeping Tyrannosaur and the raft was in the first novel, Jurassic Park. And we always loved it. So one of the first things Stephen and I said when we started working on the story for this was, we got to get that raft sequence in some place.
When I read the script, I was like, you better not screw that up, because everyone's going to be wanting that to be really good.
The T-Rex sequence was especially complicated. We had to shoot this sequence in 3 parts. We had Thailand, Malta, and the UK. So everything needed to look seamless.
There was a river section, which was in Thailand, in one of these lagoons.
We like mud on this set, and they're not going to yell at me for doing that. The past 3 days, there's been a lot of swimming in clothing, which is interesting.
She was swimming across to the pier and then coming back and then swimming there and then back. I am almost envious of her because I would love a dip in this beautiful, pristine Thailand. If she heard me say that, she would laugh at me and tell me that she wishes that it was me instead of her.
Very good. Cut that, bravo. Well done.
The Hadrosaur doesn't make it, obviously.
This dead hadrosaur, it was huge. I don't know how many feet it was, but it was definitely bigger than me. And it left little to the imagination in a good way.
The inside is really gross. Shout out to Creature Effects. T-Rex is gonna arise and we're gonna paddle for our lives.
We have been rehearsing the paddling quite a bit. One of my arms is getting very strong. The other is remaining skinny and slim.
I'm just saying paddle to maybe encourage them a little bit to paddle faster. Paddle! 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 I helped.
You did.
You did.
You're doing all the heavy lifting out here.
The amazing fun thing that we've done with Gareth with the T-Rex is to just tweak the design. The flexibility we have here is that it's not the Rex that we've seen in all of the other Jurassic films.
Ours has got more of the eyebrows and the scales around the teeth, some of the shapes, just a bit more simplistic, a bit more classical, like prior to Jurassic, how they thought dinosaurs looked.
The T-Rex can't sound entirely different. It's one of the most iconic dinosaur sounds ever created. I went back to some of the original source recordings. But there's an opportunity there to look for new material to make it work with the new actions that it's going to perform in the movie.
We've never done a swimming T-Rex on Jurassic. It's super exciting. There's a lot of science to as to how it might have swum, the body position that it's going to be in, and the sort of mechanics of how that would work.
when we first saw the T-Rex from Jurassic Park 1, and then it's been dry throughout. When it started to interact with the water, it had to look slightly darker and have a different specular roll-off, as if it just been wading through that water. And when you've got something the size of a T-Rex disturbing that water, you've really got to make sure that you get the subtle nuances of water to sell something that size and that scale.
We've gone back in and we've just looked at the shape and the structure of it. And so this new T-Rex is a sort of heavier, more masculine, bull-like T-Rex. It's got more muscle, there's a little bit more fat on it as well. When you see this thing actually churning and plowing through the water, this idea of power and energy is really conveyed by the way the white water is being thrown up.
We're in Malta. We're at what's called the shallow tanks. It is very warm here.
I did a very cool scene in the small tank, which is not very small because it's very deep.
Let's roll camera, please.
I'm in the river. I'm like pulling by the current, and then the dinosaur comes. I have to be underwater with the rig, and they will pull me. And they had this huge mouth of the T-Rex that tries to grab me. And it was so cool to shoot. It was really, really cool.
The T-Rex chomping something underwater is an interesting challenge. We have fantastic references of real animals our animators are using, like crocodiles biting things in water to inspire them.
Right now it's rehearsals for when the raft flips over. We had to try on my jacket because it's a rain jacket and we didn't know how it'd feel, and we had to try on my shoes. I'm just in there by myself, and then I have to act like I'm swimming. It is a little cold, but it's okay. Once you go under, it feels good.
That was top notch.
And then there's this whole rapid section in England.
In Thailand, there are no rapids. So we took a look at Lee Valley, the Olympic Park that was built in 2012 in London.
And when you actually look at it, not using your imagination, you're like, oh, is this going to work? This won't look like a normal river. Because it was all full of these concrete barriers. The art department came in, replaced those barriers with like these rock facades.
Right at the end is what we call the T-Rex Rocky Pass. Some of these rocks were bigger than cars.
There's a whole course that goes down here that comes around, that's behind us and around us.
We did a little bit of training in the real course.
Let's do one more from further up, just so you feel a bit of the rougher waters.
Welcome to England, lads.
It was way harder than I thought it was going to be.
Here we go, Luna. 3, 2, 1, action.
You'd put your hand in just to test it, and it was like ice water.
This is not.
That's why I'm wearing 2 wetsuits under my clothes right now.
It's a tough ride. They're getting pushed underwater. They're almost like little human pinball going down the course.
And they had to keep going in and going in and going down. And I'd promised them it was the last go, and then you'd have to go and beg them to do it one more time. That's when I felt any sort of goodwill towards me started to go away.
Tell me about the challenge of shooting the scene.
Yeah, tell us. Come, Gareth. Our wonderful director, Gareth. Tell us about...
There's no challenges. There's absolutely no challenges at all, is there?
There he is. Come on, you can do it. Hero. Had it been a smoother hold, you would have been able to hold on to that, do you think?
Because it's like...
Yeah, okay. We'll sort it out. Action! Bella! Bella!
We've built a really fantastic, fully digital environment. We had a drone team in Thailand scanning so that we can digitally recreate our location. That will make this film so believably unique.
As far as the sound, the challenge of that scene was to constantly think about the emotion of the T-Rex. It's kind of gasping in frustration. The goal was to make it a little pathetic sounding as it kind of whimpers away.
Got that, very good. Well done. Thank you, Spielberg.
Getting that family with that raft and the T-Rex, that is one of the standout moments of the film.
It's the classic Jurassic World T-Rex scene where it's mayhem and it's scary.
All the elements for a really great suspense sequence are there. And it seemed like the perfect amount of T-Rex in a scene that we'd always been dying to get in.
I think our mindset on this movie was, let's create as many playgrounds as we can. And you'll see it from the cliff top to the temple set.
You know, you're a very impressive nerd, Henry.
The design of the cliff face is nuts.
In the script, it was described as a nest on the edge of a cliff. And so I just thought, oh, what if there's like an old Inca temple built into the side of something? As you start to do an Inca temple, you start to go, oh, this is looking more and more like Raiders of the Lost Ark, which to me is a good thing. I got to scratch that itch a little bit. There was a lot of stunt work, a lot of wire work. The actors really wanted to do it and did do it.
So when you land, really land, and then break the arm slow. Handle, pull.
Land, handle, pull. Learning to do the abseilings, that was a new skill. I would not say I'm like expert abseiler, but it was very cool. Just relax. I mean, you're not being chased by like pterodactyl. We got to do a lot of rehearsal and just like become familiar with the equipment.
Ready when you are.
That's good. We have an amazing stunt team that also helps us look like we're absolute professional abseiling crew. I'd say I'll see you next time, but I'll see you on set.
Today we're gonna be climbing down. This is a beautiful mountain, it's a fake mountain, and it's gonna be very exciting.
3, 2, 1, lowering. Nice push up. Good, that's it. Excellent.
The training is incredible. You feel so safe. The more safe you feel, the more you're willing to do a lot of stuff and hanging upside down because you know you have a team that has you.
Excellent job, Richie. Thank you.
A lot of it is just being aware of your body and how you're moving, which isn't necessarily like an instinctive thing for me. You're doing great. Getting tips from Marlo and from Mickey on our stunt team, like this arm flailing over here. Maybe not the best look, you know, just approach it in a tactical way. Time to move. Those reminders, you know, the shorthand, like that stuff is all really valuable.
And actually, I sort of get vertigo quite badly, but I managed to conceal it so that no one realized.
He looks like he's born to do this. It's insane. Look at him. The acting part is pretending not to know how to do it. That's how good he is at everything.
We got this chance to literally do this cliffhanger kind of moment in the movie.
Henry!
That shot of him going off the cliff. Like that's Jonathan really doing it.
As you can see, we've got him on a bunch of systems here with the rigging.
Action. Yeah. Oh no.
And we're going to drop him down, hopefully as safely and as possible.
Yeah. Okay, well done everyone on board. You good, Johnny?
I had this idea that if he landed in water, he's more likely to survive.
So we're returning here to the waterfall in the jungle in Krabi. Eduardo, knockout, very flattering stunt double, did a fall. And yeah, and it was just about holding breath underwater and then emerging as if, you know, you've sort of fallen 50 feet.
And you go through the maths of like, well, how'd you do that shot? And you go, well, the only real way you can do it, Johnny has to just hold his breath. I can't cue him. He has to just count. And we'll count, and rhythmically hoping that by the time we get there and the shot is just ready for him, he's going to burst out.
I did feel something wriggle past my leg.
I felt something like that earlier.
But I carried on counting because I know how much these shots take to set up. So yeah, maybe I got to 11 a bit quicker than I should have done.
And I felt sorry for him because it's really hard holding your breath on camera and acting at the same time, but he did a great job.
Yeah, I did like it.
So we're standing right now on stage 10 at Sky Elstree Studios. In the background, we have our temple interior set made of wood and plaster and steel. We do all of this by hand, and we carve every little bit of foam that you see behind us and bring it up to this level. One thing that we really wanted to impress was this idea of time has kind of taken over here.
Maybe we should make this quick, huh?
You want to still feel like those root systems are crawling into every little corner, or that the stonework that we did in Thailand is applied exactly to the stonework that we do here on our stage. You can see moss kind of growing up the sides of all these pillars and water damage.
And they changed the way that they were doing it through a hose to like a brass or filament. There was like water leaking from the roof.
We've rigged it with sprinkler systems, so water can kind of cascade down like rain. We've got this beautiful kind of sunlight kind of beaming through all these little holes to give it a very kind of a natural vibe.
The temple set, it's like one of those moments where you feel like, oh my, they're doing a little homage to all of Spielberg's films, especially when Loomis was holding the egg and the light was shining in. I was like, wait a minute, which movie was shooting again?
Uh-oh.
There's a lot of action happening here. We've just created all these moments where our actors kind of have to hide behind pillars and shadow or light.
We were shooting the stunt sequence of being dragged out of the nest. There was a moment where sort of Scarlett was the other side and they were cross-shooting and we were ducking around sort of a big tennis ball on a stick. And I just looked around and I was like, oh my God, there's like so many things that have been thought about here meticulously. And you look at the wall and you're like, oh my God, there's like individual brushstrokes.
There's a lot to imagine, but you're also like in a functional set, which is great and so helpful.
Oh no.
Henry!
We've got these big kind of pillars that are these kind of stalactites, stalagmites. As you kind of pull back, you'll notice that their teeth, the cave mouth, is literally a mouth. It's this prehistoric or mythical creature, and that is kind of reinforced in kind of the motifs on the pillars. Looking that way is going to be hopefully all in camera, no VFX. Looking this way, we've got blue screen that VFX will come in post.
The environment that we're building for the Quetzalcoatl sequence is a location that we found in India. There's a place called Jog Falls. It's this huge waterfall that's been cut into the landscape, and there's a gorge down one end of it. And it's a vertical drop of over 265 meters. It's just the most stunning, beautiful landscape you can imagine. And that's our beauty environment. And then we've got a cliff, and that will be made up of the set pieces that we shot on the backlot. And that cliff becomes a digital sort of extension to part of Jog Falls. So we basically stick the two pieces together and extend the cliff down to meet the base.
Gareth's way of shooting everything, to make the most of these locations when you're there, and then when you're not, to disguise the fact in any which way you can. It's trickery at the finest.
You want to bring species that actually existed to the screen. So I thought I want the winged dinosaur, which is really cool and was huge.
Quetzalcoatlus, a pterosaur the size of a school bus with 30-foot wings.
The Quetzalcoatlus, you have to get very good at being able to say that word.
Jonathan Bailey, who has an English accent, had to say in an American accent, and God bless him.
Quetzalcoatlus.
You kind of wanted these to look a little bit nasty, a little bit menacing and evil. For me, the key was around the eyes.
It's got a red ring around the outside of its eye. So we have a much more colorful creature, which is fantastic. It's got a slightly different design for its head and its beak.
It has this beak that kind of does a lot of stuttering. So a lot of Quetzal was about adding a kind of a staccato to its voice. We recorded a bunch of bone clacks, and I came across these great recordings of these alpacas being sheared. So once those two things were in place, it became about the feet, the claws, all the other textural details, the wings.
We have these really beautiful orange and blue patterns on the wings.
These wings were just so huge that could wrap around its body almost twice.
I was always trying to get the wings down as it went up the cliff. For me, it just always felt more intimidating.
The wings are usually recorded from leather flaps and cloth flaps, just making them so much more massive by layering them. When it lifts off, it kicks up these huge dust clouds, and so it was really about, how do we just portray those as just so powerful.
It was just tiny little variations in squinting of the eyes and tilting angles of the head and the way the throat was wobbling to get that performance down.
I love the design of it. I think it turned out really cool.
I just felt so in a realized, detailed world, and I couldn't quite believe it. It's literally seeing someone's artistry, and it's so quick sometimes in film. So that attention to detail, but also the love and that wonder, I think, is testament to the shared experience of loving the original Jurassic Park and having that formative cinematic experience.
Hey! 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 Oh my God, you made it! Oh God. The film builds to this incredibly awesome action set piece where my team from the Essex and the Delgado family finally converge.
No, I'm not hysterical. I'm homicidal.
It starts at this mini market outside the old Jurassic Park research facility.
Stop talking, stop talking.
Where the dinosaurs that we come up against are actually the stuff of nightmares.
Oh, thank God.
What the hell is this place?
It's where it all happened.
Our film is set on an island where they did the R&D for the original Jurassic Park.
The premise of the island, Ile Saint-Hubert, is the island was up and running while the initial park was running.
And essentially what they were doing was playing with the genetics of the dinosaurs to try and make more interesting dinosaurs for the audiences.
The Mutodon, it's just a nightmare creature. It's like a big winged, strange skin, translucent-y dinosaur that hangs like a bat, and it's just awful. It's absolutely awful.
A Mutodon came because I'd had an experience at my house. We had these old columns that were kind of rotting, but they had holes at the top, and I was spraying it off with a hose because birds would build nests there. And as I was looking, these two long clawed hands came out from inside the column, and it pulled up its head, and it was this really big bat that had been sleeping in there. It was like 3 in the afternoon, so the bat was like, "What do you want?" And I thought, I'm putting you in a movie.
Mutodons were a big design challenge of how much of that do we pull from the original DNA of a dinosaur and how much do we kind of create on the drawing board ourselves.
After trying all these clever experiments with all these different looks, we just reached this point of like, are we trying too hard? Should this just be a flying raptor that actually looks like it could fly, that's not like a weird hybrid thing? It feels like nature would have arrived at that decision.
It was a long design process. Had a lot of iterations. For example, we went more raptor, and then Gareth did this paint over, which was much more straight lines. So we had to essentially find something that worked more organically, but that had clean lines. You can see a lot of vulture features. These are the JP3 Raptor scales on the sides. And then, of course, we have the beak at the front. After that, we shortened the beak a little bit just to go back to the Raptor features. There was a lot of debate as to how much of the membrane we had to show while the wing is folded, but in the end, we decided to go for a more hidden look. Oh my God, look out!
Really wanted some visual in the movie that felt familiar. And so going through all the options, I felt like a gas station. They would have one at this facility because they've got vehicles. And a gas station is probably the bit that's most like home for these people, where there's snacks and magazines on the shelf. It just feels like something reminiscent of your home life.
What are they?
I don't know. In the mini mart, we built aisles that could allow actors to kind of run in and out of. We built these kind of freezers and cold storage areas. We want to allow the filmmakers to get in there and find little moments.
Okay, just go back there, Audrina, go back to that position. I really wanted a scene in the movie that was a little bit like the kitchen scene in the original Jurassic Park. And the reason I felt like that kitchen scene really resonated when you watched it as a kid, because it felt like somewhere you lived. And as crazy as all this other stuff was, that's like my school or something. So it felt like the dinosaurs had come to you, rather than you've gone back in time to their world.
When we got into that mini mart, the set design, it's insane, and every single detail is just to the T. Like, it really, really looks like a Jurassic film.
It takes me more back to like the first Jurassic Park. And that's what all of the cast is saying it feels like in here. And it feels very real. I go in the fridge, which is, I think that's pretty cool.
We've got a variety of different kind of VFX puppetry performance pieces. This is the Mutadon head, which we've got actually on a helmet, which can be worn by one of our puppeteers, Edward, who is on arm extensions, and then he is actually being the creature as it walks through the mini-mart. We are here to help the actors give authentic performances. So I found myself doing lots of dinosaur sounds and things to scare the actors or to just tell them where the creature is.
A lot of the sounds we're using in the Mutadon are not actually animal source sounds at all. One of the sounds that I had a lot of fun with was just taking an oven mitt on my quartz countertop and screeching it along there and then pitching that down. And those become one of the layers of the Mutadon. The Mutadon's really made up of lots and lots of different things because we wanted to have so much variation in the performance. Sometimes it's screeching and in full attack mode, sometimes it's in stealth mode where it's hunting them.
That way, go, go, go. Give me that. It's a tunnel system. Goes under the whole island.
I was just saying to James Klein, just give me a playground, give me like a hamster playset, you know, so that it's got some big tunnels, some small ones, and they all interlink.
We wanted to feel like you were in this maze, in this jungle of concrete, and we needed the space to do it in. So 11 and 12 stages allowed us to really play not only a really big tunnel, but also a series of small tunnels. We wanted to do something that wasn't just what you would consider a typical drainage tunnel. We wanted to give it some shape and some design language to it. For lighting, we've created these grating systems, and we can punch some moonlight through those, which will give this beautiful pattern across the floor.
There's something very cave-like and like organic about the shapes and the way they lead to other things. It just feel like you're a little hamster in a playset. And the downside is you have to bend down to move anywhere. And unless you're a small young person, it really, really tires you out and gets your muscles aching really fast.
Action. We're shooting in the tunnels today, and it's fun to be on a set that's big, and so much of this film is practical, which is unexpected. We have these great practical sets, and I think they probably could have made them like maybe a foot taller, and it would have been beneficial for most of the camera department. For once, I'm like, it's great to be a tinier person. For once on this film, there's a benefit to being small. So, yay.
Being the tallest person in the ensemble, I'm just complaining about how uncomfortable these tunnels are to move in. But I think the tunnels are gonna look amazing as far as creating like a claustrophobic feeling layered with danger. But I need these tunnels to be a little larger.
I can see the gate! We come across the Distortus Rex, which is sort of like a T-Rex with like the giant weird head that's coming out of it. I don't know, it's so gross.
None of us really know what's inside the head. We built it a bit like a brain, but it's translucent and a bit scattery. I always love the idea that it's not a very intelligent dinosaur. It always looks a bit confused by everything, and it kind of walks into stuff and just walks through trees rather than around them, and therefore it's got loads of damage and scratches and bumps and bruises and stuff all over it.
The D-Rex we sort of nailed really fast, and I was really super happy with it, and it got signed off by everybody. Stephen really liked it. Everything was a really smooth ride with that.
The Distortus Rex, I think, is my favorite creature in the film, and I can't call it a dinosaur because it's not, but it's the result of an experiment to create a dinosaur that's gone wrong. But it has these very, very long gorilla-like forearms, and also 2 tiny little T-Rex arms as well. We started doing animation tests with that, and Gareth looked at it and was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. And it was kind of limping along, like it had one arm that was slightly damaged, and it's starting to give us this really almost like hunchbacked sort of motion to it. And we're trying to create this thing that is terrifying, but at the same time you connect with it and feel sorry for it.
One of the things we thought from the beginning was this is sort of a creature that has maybe nasal problems. So we recorded a lot of small dogs like French bulldogs and pugs that have really interesting breathing and snorting and pitched way down. That becomes a big part of the D-Rex.
I wanted a bit of sadness to the creature where, you know, as much as you're scared of it, you also feel like it didn't ask to be here. It was in a cage and it got out and it's come into being through this horrible process that has made it not quite equipped to be part of nature.
The mutated dinosaurs are fascinating and make for an original viewing, but they also comment on humanity's need to push the boundaries consistently in a very unnatural way.
Who do we give it to?
You decide.
We'll give it to everyone. It deals with the themes of greed and corporate greed particularly, and how that impacts humanity. There's big themes as well as just like big set pieces.
The theme of Jurassic is very much about man versus nature, and the fact that nature is way bigger and more powerful, and we depend on it for our survival, whether we want to admit it or not.